Welcome to Flex Factor with Marc Navarro, the podcast that cuts through the noise to bring you the best strategies and insights in the co-working world. Produced by Spacebring. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Flex Factor podcast. A few years ago, I visited Lisbon and I had the opportunity to interview my friend Fernando Mendes. He's a co-working legend. Probably if you have get into the co-working industry in the last years, you didn't have the opportunity to meet him. But I think it's important to give a look behind and understand where co-working came from and what are the people that made this industry how it's today, although it's quite different. I don't want to spoil the conversation, so enjoy and see you next month. Bye.
I like the silence. I like to be alone for a week or something like that. But at the same time, I need to feel people around me, but not necessarily, super party. And I like to be in the corner of the room and observing a lot. That's really a design thing, to be an observer. And more than be an observer, I think being a designer is also someone that acts and feels comfortable beyond disciplines. So I feel totally at ease when I'm out of, just like if you think about the science, the really first time that we realized that the world, the planet is round, was when we left the planet. So you had to leave the planet and go to the moon. And then when you're at the moon, you see, oh, it's really round, it's not flat. Just like there's a lot of people now think, I think we should send these people to the moon and say, see if it's flat. It's not flat, right? So
they will probably have found an explanation for that. We had one probably, but
they'll say, okay, it's an illusion. It's an illusion, just like it happens in the deserts. If you go to the desert, you'll see water, and it's you going mad. No.
How those early years were? You opened Coworking Lisboa, 2009.
2010. Yeah. We started in 2009. In fact, what I learned before with Rui Marx and a lot of brilliant people, as I said before, was to, if you want to do something, do it fast. And I have as a designer, we learned that it's better to do it and to iterate and improve the process, instead of waiting for the big solution, the brilliant solution, the beautiful space. If I was to wait for the brilliant space and the brilliant location and the wonderful co-workers and lots of money coming from a sponsor or the banks or something like that, I think Cowork Lisboa would never launch and born. So I decided with Anna, and Anna plays a huge role in all of this, because if Anna, the first time I spoke to her about co-working, will tell me, no way, Fernando, that's a stupid thing, don't do it, we're not going to do it, because she's really the boss at home, and she's really the boss, because she knows how to manage the company, and she knows about finance, she knows about all of that.
And she knows also when to leave you alone.
Oh yes. Well, she doesn't need to leave me alone. She just says, go away and get out of my sight for 2 days or something like that. No, she's not harsh, but Anna is really frontal and direct. And in fact, even in terms of my design practice, I never send a proposal to anyone without consulting Anne about that, because she's not a designer, but she's a designer, because she's living with the designer for more than 30 years now. And when I show something to her, if it's a logo, a website, a landing page, anything, and she has no problem in saying, that's really shitty. What do you think? How do you combine those colors? There's a problem with the colors, there's a problem with the typography, there's a problem with the layout, the grid, because she knows everything. And when Anna, which is a non-designer, says to me, that's a shitty work, I believe her. And I always stop and go back and, redesign and redraw and all. So she plays a big role. But when I was announcing Anna, I just read about this stuff, this co-working thing, and it's totally me. It's me. I don't need a course on co-working. I need to meet people. I know that I need to meet people and spoke to people. Not in Portugal, because in Portugal no one is paying attention to this. In fact, there were in Lisbon we had a big group of maybe 30 people online, and they had a group, I don't know in which kind of network at the time, or not social media. That was, I think, almost before Facebook, and they were discussing about co-working. So I'm gonna open a space in Lisboa. It's a co-working space. There's co-working spaces. There's a few co-working spaces in Germany, some in Italy. Italy had a different scene at the time. But they were discussing a lot. They were discussing the color of the desks and the chairs, and maybe the walls could have a special painting or something. And I think I was with those guys for a week, and I decided they're gonna discuss. That's really Portuguese. They're gonna discuss for years, and they're not opening the space really. So I said, let's go. I'm gonna open the space, and I want a shortcut. I don't want to wait. I want to do it, and it's not quantum physics or something that is really. I know how to do it. I know how to. I was arrogant in a way, because I felt it's nothing new, but it's gonna be new, and I know how to do it. Because I had the experience before of working with other people, being able to choose the desk I wanted to work in a certain day. I could shift teams. My boss, Marc, did that a lot. I was a designer, and sometimes he asked me, "You're gonna leave the third floor, and you're gonna, occupy a desk on the 5th floor, and you'll work with that team." And I would say, "No, I'm a designer. They are, those guys are developers, and I have nothing to do with those guys." I know that, but you're not just a designer. You go there because you're a peaceful guy, and in every team that you are, there's no problem at all. So please go there and act as a non-designer. And at the time, I didn't like that. I would fight with him, and I'm a designer. I want to do design. No, I want you at the 5th floor tomorrow, and you'll solve because the guys are, they are killing themselves. So I learned how to
be a community builder,
be with other people, with other professionals, other mindsets, all of that. And that was the beginning for me as a community manager, which is an awful expression, but we don't have a better one.
Some people try with community builder. I heard also community gardener.
Yes, but we are not plants. We're not. No, I'm not a flower. I can be a flower sometimes, but I'm not a flower. I don't know what to call it. But I felt at ease opening the space, and the rest was about the coworkers. In fact,
it's very important. The first members of a co-working space.
Oh yes.
That's usually overlooked. With people, it's so it's not very polite, but it's the truth. It's so desperate to fill the empty positions that sometimes they don't pay attention to those members that are going to be the core of your space, and they are going to show what you are sales pitching to the people that is coming to buy. And if you are sales pitching whatever the concept you have, and then the members are the members that are actual members at that moment in the space are really different, that's not going to be a good match. It's going to be weird.
Well, I remember that we were lucky enough to have really special situations. So the first co-workers were a couple, Antonio and Isabelle, and they reached me separately, and each one of them said, "I'm Antonio, and I want to come to the place. I know you're gonna open in February. It's December, before Christmas. I want to book right now. Oh, maybe you have a girl contacting you and reaching you. She's Isabelle." He didn't tell me it was his girlfriend, and I want to be at the other part of at the other side of the room. It's not because I don't like her. It's just that I want to be far away from her. Okay. Then the next week, an email from Isabelle saying, I'm a translator. I want to book right now a place at Cowork Lisboa. I'm not sure what a co-working space is, but I feel that I have to, go away from home, and I can't work at home, and it's painful, and it's lonely, and blah, blah, blah. My only request is that I think that you'll have a contact from a certain Antonio, and I want to be at the other side of the room. So that was really strange. They are still together, but they didn't want to be close to each other at Cowork Lisboa. That was the first proof of what co-working is. So I can be in the same room, but I don't need to be friends with or boyfriend or girlfriend with anyone at the place. And that's really comfortable. It's really comfortable to be at a place that you're with people. Again, the introvert and the shy guy. It's really comfortable to enter a place and you don't have to introduce yourself to everybody. But at the same time, you feel that you all immediately belong to something. You're with other people that are really like you. They don't want to be, they're not ready to have a full conversation on the first day. Buy me a drink first. And that's what was the most attractive aspect of co-working.
Okay.
That thing of working alone, together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's this kind of magic that sometimes it's difficult to explain if you don't get into co-working that early. Because the spirit, in some places it's kept the same, but in some places it's much different. So.
Yeah, I think that part is gone now. I have a lot of friends and people like us who are connected to the movement since more than 1 decade now, and it's been domesticated. So because you have new users of the spaces, and there's no manual. We have 15 years ago there was no academic field of co-working. Now you have there's a lot of papers and a lot of scientific thinking about what co-working is, and there's people from other areas writing about co-working. But the people who are using co-working spaces now, they have nothing to do with the first. Well, that happens with everything, any kind of trend. That was a regular question in the first 4 or 5 years. Is this a trend? Because if it's a trend, it's gonna end someday. And I would always reply, yes. Well, we all gonna end sometime. So maybe it's a trend. So what? It's not a big problem, right? Yeah. But I remember in maybe 2016, 15, saying it's not a trend. It's gonna be huge, and it's gonna be bigger than you can imagine at this time. At the moment, it's gonna be huge. Then the question came to the surface again at the beginning of the pandemics. Yeah. So now, Fernando, now it's gonna end, right? So people really wanted to.
They were looking for
that it was just a trend. It's just a trend. It's what you're doing. It's you and other guys in the world. It's nothing new. No, it's nothing new. So what? It's brilliant that it's nothing new. It's human. But now it's gonna end, right, Fernando? Because the pandemics, it's ending all the co-working space. And I said, no, it's going to slow down co-working space for a few months maybe. Then the pandemic will go away sometime, hopefully. And I think that when it goes away, you'll have a new refounding of what co-working is. And I think that's what we are living now.
I had very funny conversations during that time. I was like, co-working now it's dead, right?
Yes, it's dead.
And I was like, no, it's better than ever. And then you heard a silence on the other side of the phone when the interviewer was, and I was like, well, not exactly now. I mean, the short term we are screwed for sure, but on a medium to long term we will be better than ever, because when uncertainty grows, co-working thrives.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, you made me very, very happy because something you said. I was, my former girlfriend told me that I was not domesticated at all. I replied her, oh, thank you. And she was like, oh, no, it was not a compliment. And I was like, I thought, and I was like, yeah, I think it is actually. And she was like, no, it's not. And I was like, okay. So I'm happy. I'm glad to find someone that thinks that being domesticated is not a good thing.
You really need it. You need that co-working spaces are not domesticated spaces. Otherwise, you will lose those pillars. Because if you need difference, collision, diversity, openness, all of that, free speech, you can domesticate that. You need that that variety of people and color skins and religions. And if you domesticated it, I always react badly when people tell me about this brilliant idea of opening a co-working space just for women, or just for owners, or just for architects or designers. I can't imagine myself working at a co-working place just with designers.
Yeah,
that would be really poison.
But this is indeed a trend. I remember.
The niche, I hate the niche co-working. I really hate.
In 2013, it was, at least in Barcelona, it was like, oh, Marc, you are wrong. You should specialize. And then 2 years later, you were like a horizontal co-working, a diverse co-working, open to anyone, and it was the coolest thing on the world. And then in 2017, it was again a little bit of trend to have this kind of niche co-workings. And I was like, specialized co-working, it's like I don't know the name in English, those huge legs on jeans, it's like every time comes back, right? And when people is telling this to me, I'm like, I'm making always this comparison because it makes no sense. Yeah. I mean, you can choose whatever, but I think that all you said, a good summary, it's like you're defining being authentic, but I think that, and I agree with you in that sense, but I think that some people don't need it. I mean, they're not looking for, I can understand why they don't need it, because I need to live and to experience everything in my life to be authentic, because otherwise, for me, it does not make sense. But for some people, it's just a commodity, and they are not willing to integrate, and they just need a workplace, which is cool in the sense of how it looks, and they don't care one place or the other, right? So it's, I think, but it's part of this mainstreamization. I don't know if this word even exists.
I think it's related also to the competition. So you have a lot more of co-working spaces. It's totally crazy, and you have a new dimension now, because you have co-working spaces were co-working spaces, periods. But then it happened to co-working to become an open source service as is. I don't know what to call it. But the thing is, I can sell fish right now. I have a small shop in Lisboa and selling fresh fish. And maybe I have too much space, and someone will say, why don't you add a co-working space to your fish shop? So you really have co-working spaces at all the spaces, even at spaces that were the opposite of co-working spaces. A co-working space is a third place, so it's not your home and it's not the institutional place like the church, the government places, the state places, all of that. But it's what's happening. It's happening right now. You have co-working space everywhere. Well, they call it a co-working space, but it's never a co-working space because it doesn't have the same authenticity as you said before, and you would come to a co-working space and you would stay at that co-working space and it become yours, and you became friends with a lot of people at your collective. That was your second home. In fact, we had a project called The Second Home. That's a good name, but it's not a home. And right now, that's not what you have. Now you have people coming for even here at now. They come, if they are freelancers most of the time, and they stay for a couple of weeks. And they really like this place, but then they want to go to another one, and they jump every 2 weeks to different places, and that changes the community, the sense of community. It's totally different, and it's still evolving. I don't think it's not done with what Coworking space. We'll see a lot of changes in the years ahead.
This podcast is proudly brought to you by Spacebring, your fast track to co-working space management.
Let's go back in time. How it was, and I don't know if this is painful or not, but I have to ask, how it was the end of Cowork Lisboa? Why Cowork Lisboa ends? Something happened to Alex Factory?
It's strange because I'm not that emotional with that kind of ending. And that's because we had a wonderful and beautiful history at Cowork Lisboa. I have a new family with more than 7,000 people that work at Cowork Lisboa, from Cowork Lisboa. So I don't feel it as it was not really painful because I had now running at the same time this place at the same time. So a few people came from Cowork Lisboa to this place. And at the same time, I just accept that things happen and things end sometime. And that was not a real big problem. And it was not about me or Anna or the co-workers. We had to close Cowork Lisboa because the French group, the owner of the place, Alex Factory, proposed us a raise in our rent of more than 30%, 32% to be precise. And that was totally impossible. So I would have to, sell a kidney, maybe one for me and one for Anna, to go on with Cowork Lisboa, which was a stupid idea, of course. So we decided to close because we had to close. And then, amazingly, and because we closed just 1 month before the pandemic.
Oh wow!
So if it was not the raise in the rent, it would be the pandemic. So in a way, I just anticipated a bigger problem. But I'm not that emotional with that kind of situation, that kind of moment.
And then
what I really felt, Mark, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I have to speak with people. I have to explain them why we need to close this, and that we have a beautiful story and history to tell to each other and to remember. And we still speak to each other, and some of them become my family. They had kids while working from Cowork Lisboa, and I'm the stepfather of one of the kids. Others still work with me. I still hire people from that time. They hire me from. So the history goes on, and. But yes, and it was a round number, 10 years.
Yeah.
So it was exactly 10 years. And I felt like, okay, maybe it's the time to close it and to...
And then you did something, in my opinion, remarkable. Because I had many, many times sometimes conversations that took years with managers that have a co-working space. And at a certain point, it's clear that the project needs to move forward and they have to basically go for a bigger location in those cases. But in your case, it's even bigger because you completely shut down. There's the whole pandemic in the middle. And then you decided to start a co-working space again. And that's, I think it's remarkable because, again, it's a conversation I had with many of them. And it's like this conversation in which they are like, oh, Mark, but I have like 3-4 years that like shit. I have to work a lot. I have to invest a lot. I have no personal life, pushing with events, with everything, right? And at some point, it's like magic, or maybe it's like because we are all on drugs with co-working, in the sense that we are addicted to co-working, not any other thing. But most of those conversations end up in, Marc, I went for the second one. And I have two questions regarding now. A little bit of background, but the two questions are, you did for sure some things different, I guess. One kind of things, because of the market, is different when you open now than when you open Cowork Lisboa. But the second, I'm especially curious about this. Which things you did different when you open now because you want to make them different from Cowork Lisboa?
I think I was seduced by Miguel and Paul, my partners, because they seduced me, in fact, saying, okay, you're the father of co-working. We work from your space. We have our office on the floor below, but we come every day to your space. It's really strange. And we don't even have a plan with you. We work from outside of Cowork Lisboa. We want to be close to Cowork Lisboa, and we don't know why. We want to know more about that. At the same time, they said, we want to propose you to be with us and to create and launch a new space, but it's not going to be a co-working space, not just a co-working space. And I immediately said, okay, that's that kind of discourse that it's more than a co-working space, because if it's your speech, I'm out. And Miguel said, no, it's not. I'm not trying to pick on you, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I just want to propose you that, of course we'll have a co-working space. It's a co-working space, but it's not just a co-working space. But it's not an incubator. He was totally against the idea of incubators. And that's one of the misleading ideas about, or the biased ideas about co-working space. We are not that related to the entrepreneurial ecosystems. I had the chance to have the most prominent incubators in Lisbon and Portugal, living side by side with Cowork Lisboa. And there was no strong connection between the founders and people, and we are still friends. But there were not a lot of people, shifting from one place to the other. So if you are into a startup, it's not obvious that you sometimes at a certain point you will go to the co-working space, or if you are a freelancer at the co-working space, or if you have a small company at the co-working space. Again, it's not obvious that you'll be a startup sometime. So Miguel proposed a new kind of space. It would be something mixing co-working, not an incubator. He called it, in Portuguese, empurradora. So a pushing, a pushing thing, a pushing space. It's not really an incubator. An incubator is too formal. It's about making, it's too related to money, and and I'm trying to remember his own words. He would tell me it's about pushing people. A lot of people need just a little push to get straight and get up on their feet, and maybe they'll have a startup, they'll have a company, or maybe it's just a change in their career or something like that. So it's a pushing space. Okay, I like that. So we started with this kind of plan, and I never felt it was something like Cowork Lisboa. I always understood Cowork Lisboa is no more, or it's going to end sometime, because I started now before the end of Cowork Lisboa, and it's totally different. Just like when you're moving houses, the new house it's not going to be the same you had at the previous house. And I had this experience as well when I tried to expand Cowork Lisboa. That's not a well-known history about Cowork Lisboa. I had the chance of trying Cowork Lisboa at the university, with my university at Yad, really early, 2016, maybe 17. And there was a flop, a total flop, because of me, because of the university, because they couldn't understand what I was proposing. People could understand, students did understand, professors and teachers, staff, they never understood what the place was. And it was separated from the university. I wanted to be at the center of the university, and they sent me to another place, to a palace that they had, and it didn't work. And I started to learn my lesson. I started to understand that, okay, this is not about me. This is about me and Anna and a certain place. Okay, we have a co-working space. But then if I pick myself and Anna and I go to another place, it's something new. It's not replicable. A co-working space is not a company. You can just open new shops and it's going to be the same. It's not a McDonald's.
You cannot copy paste.
No way.
And many people don't
And
get
I
it.
fail big time in every time I tried to expand Cowork Lisboa as Cowork Lisboa Yard, my university, or Cowork Lisboa Central Station, and I was with that incubator, Beta E. And it was a big flop and a big fail all the time.